When a lot of people think of a pharmacy, they think of a CVS or a Walgreens or perhaps a hospital pharmacy. What's different between those pharmacies and us is we're delivering medications to the frail elderly who are in institutions, nursing homes, or mentally retarded or developmentally disabled group homes. Our pharmacy, instead of being 800 square feet, is over 10,000 square feet. There are really two pieces to fill in a prescription. There's the information factory, which is office operations, and then there's the materials handling factory, which is filling a prescription, putting it into a conveyance that a nurse or a caregiver will give to a patient. Prescriptions that are received up front in office operations are checked for formulary compliance, adjudicated to ensure that the insurance company will pay for it, and analyzed by the pharmacist to make sure that the prescription is being filled according to the patient's needs and according to the doctor's wishes. When that's complete, then the information from the prescription is passed on to the fulfillment area where the pharmacist will fill the prescriptions.
After the order is placed, then a label will print out in the back of the pharmacy. The technician will look at the label and identify the type of drug that needs to be pulled from the shelf. We have a system with directional printing so that the label printers will print in the area where the drugs are stored. Fast movers, slow movers, or narcotics, for example. The technician will pull the label and put the drugs into a basket with that label. And the label will be put on a conveyor and given to a pharmacist to check it before it's ready to be packed and sent to the patient. Then a pharmacy technician will pack the drug, and we will, again, as the material is going down the process, we'll be barcoding those and we'll be putting those into totes. The totes are then sealed up at the end of the day, and a courier will pick up the totes and drive it to our patient. Lean production has a concept called a two-bin Kanban, which is a system that we adopted. There are two bins, and when the inventory is depleted out of the first bin, that bin is physically moved to a packing area where a material handler will know that it's time to fill that bin. In the meantime, the bin that was in the rear will slide forward, and they'll be using the inventory out of that second bin. And ideally, before the second bin is depleted, the first bin will be replenished and put into the back as the new second bin. All of our fixtures are on wheels. We can reorganize the pharmacy in under 4 hours. That is our benchmark. It may take 4 weeks to plan a reconfiguration of the layout of the pharmacy, but because everything is on wheels and we have a physically very flexible layout and system back there, we can reorganize the pharmacy in very short order. Usually we will close the pharmacy one day and a team will reorganize the pharmacy overnight, and by the time everybody shows up the next day, everything has been reconfigured. Our IV room is similar to a clean room that you would make microchips in. It has about 5 particles of dust per unit of air relative to the rest of the pharmacy, which may have between 200 and 400 units of dust.
By having a high-performance work environment and a striving for perfection, we've enabled a culture of continuous improvement, caused us to reduce our errors, to improve our service over time, so that our customers are ultimately more satisfied and our costs of operations, continue to go down.
We have based the entire pharmacy on lean production from the ground up. We are always unsatisfied with the current state of the business, and we are always identifying ways that we can improve our business. We conduct Kaizen events, which is a Japanese term for rapid improvement events, in that we identify areas that can be improved. We get a team together, and in a small amount of time, 1 hour or less typically, we are identifying what the root cause of the problem is and identifying countermeasures with which to address the problem. In the 4 years that we've had the pharmacy, we've conducted several hundred of these Kaizen events. We have a lean belt program that we created in-house. It's similar to a karate belt system, where you start with a white belt and then move up through different colors until you can get multiple degrees of black belts. And in the lean belt program, you have to educate yourself, you have to conduct lean events, and then the third element is to teach others. ISO 9000 is an international standards organization that identifies a way to document standards for your business. Part of lean production says we have to have standard operating procedures and have everybody provide the product or service in a consistent manner. That way, if everybody is operating at the same operating benchmark and somebody comes up with a way to improve the system, we can implement that system across the board very, very easily relative to if we did not have standard operating work. We have a process which was identified by a Harvard professor called Balanced Scorecard. Essentially, it's a dashboard where we can look at all of the key metrics and the key performance indicators of our business and identify where we need to apply resources. With our standard operating procedures, Young at Heart has developed over 2,500 operating procedures, checklists, forms, and value stream maps. It makes it a little bit easier then for us to scale if we wanted to start a new company, a new pharmacy, or acquire a pharmacy and apply this intellectual property. We can bring these 2,500 documents to bear with our intellectual property there, so we can rapidly scale relative to if we did not have that intellectual property documented.
The pharmacy has several proprietary technologies that enable us to do some of the mundane work in a more automated fashion. In addition, we have paperless technology throughout our entire operations. We also have proprietary software that analyzes documents that come in and route them to the correct destination based on a barcode or some other criteria that's present in the document. We try to be as automated as possible so that our caregivers are freed up to spend more time giving care or talking to someone who needs a helping hand, and the mundane tasks are automated by some type of software or some type of automation technology that we've included in our service. If you remember the days when pharmacists were caregivers who could spend a lot of time explaining to you your medication, those days seem to be gone.
We are trying to apply technology so we can spend less time with the day-to-day mechanics of the business and apply that additional time in front of the customer.
By automating a lot of the processes that are mundane for pharmacists and their technicians, we would allow pharmacists to spend more time in caregiving.